Greetings, friends, and welcome to another episode of That Game Place Live, where myself and Master of Ceremonies Jonas J. Campbell try to lead this wild horde of gamers and through different conversations. We've got many of them coming up. I think I've scheduled up to 11 stories. I don't think we'll get all the way through them, but Jonas, how you doing, buddy? Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah, I am
gaming.
Absolutely ready. I love this live stream. It is one of my favorite times of the week here, where we get to talk about video games, which, you know, sometimes you get a little tired of talking about Disney because it's dismal across the board. And the theme park space, you know, Universal only has so much news. But in the game sphere, there are companies like Nintendo. There are games like Astrobot that are just fun, joyful things that are about savoring, well, joy. And so the gaming space is a lot more fun than the movie and theme park space sometimes.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. And I have to tell you that this stream really does kind of make the middle of the week for me. I have all kinds of stuff going on throughout the week, but getting to talk about this stuff live with the audience out there in real time is great. We've been putting out a ton of videos lately. We're going to ramp that up again. So you're going to see more and more from us. We're going to do videos as fast as Jonas can make thumbnails. How about that? So,
was that a crack? Yes, I do need to make some more thumbnails.
It wasn't a crack. Come on now. Come on. But for those of you who've been watching and helping the channel grow, thank you. If you are here right now, either on the replay or live, do consider hitting the subscribe button down below. That Game Place is your place for video game news that's not tainted by a whole lot of agenda in any kind of narrative. Everybody's allowed to speak their mind on a given game or subject that we talk about here, and that includes you, the audience. So don't be shy about posting things in the chat. Don't be shy about sending super chats and so on and so forth. Eventually, we'll be having all of the stickery things, all of the icon things, all of that stuff, emojis and all that will be showing up along with memberships. And, well, we're at over 3K thanks to all of you. If we get to a certain level, we're going to turn those memberships on, and then the floodgates are open and the live competition in gaming begins. I think that's the plan, right, Jonas?
Oh, I would love that. We did try doing a live stream of a game. It did not go well here. First of all, the game was Star Wars Outlaws, so it wasn't going to go well. Anyways, before we get into that, though, we should bring in the rest.
That's right.
Of the panelists here.
First of all, we've got two panelists joining us now, and a couple more on the way. But first, let's start with the man high above us, the guy that sees the world from in a different way, from a different perspective. It's Space Dave 2000. How are you, Space Dave?
I'm doing good, and if I don't love space, there's only one thing more I love than space. It's gaming, and that's why I'm here, guys. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thanks for being available today. I know you're a busy fella. And I know your unique perspective on games will shine through. But speaking of a unique shining thing, it's somebody who shines brightly early in the morning every weekday, and he does it with style, class, and sometimes a quality rant or two. He also seems to understand video games in a way none of us can because, well, he has more video games than I can even think about having. It's the man, the myth, and, well, the mischief of Loki. How you doing, Loki?
Did I make the Concord cancel party, guys?
Yeah, you did.
We are full of toxic masculinity and toxic gamerness today. I am so happy to be here for this party. Let's go. Let's get it going. Let's fire up the dumpsters and get the fires burning bright because holy crap, boys, we're just a bunch of toxic gamers that got a game canceled.
I mean, seriously, this game was dead on arrival.
Yes.
Where's this music coming from? Is it coming from my heart here?
That's right.
It's a celebration.
Ah, man, it's crazy. Oh, they're big mad at us, guys. IGN's big mad at us. We have a story in today's lineup, but we got people calling us out for getting this crushed, and it's hard not to dance. All right.
Culture. IGN's so mad they gave us a 6.5 out of 10 instead of a 7. That's how mad they are.
Oh no. Man, you know what? When I saw that, everything's a 7 for IGN. I was like, yeah, that's quality urinalism over there. Oh my goodness! All right.
Have you heard? It's a horrible masterpiece. That's what they're calling it. A horrible masterpiece.
Good enough to play, I guess.
I have to think that there's an entire culture out there that does not understand the rest of the world, and I feel like it's concentrated in like the coasts or something like that. And there'll be like these transplants when they set up these studios in other urban centers or something like that. And I think the journalists are part of that culture. It's almost as if there is a completely different stratus of people.
Oh yeah,
gobble it up and think it's great. And then there's normal people, or if we want to be like, if we want to be nice, we could say there's another culture that is a little bit more traditional in their views. I mean, there's probably something bigger than video games there. The kind of people who weep at the idea of the Acolyte existing, weep for joy at the idea. These people
pay $25 for a Big Mac, Jonas. So there you
go.
No,
thank you. No, thank you.
And then they get really angry at people like us when their thing that they are religiously following gets canceled. That they don't care if the game is not very good. When we talk about like Dustborn, actually, I don't even know. I've heard that Concord isn't a bad game. It's just the gameplay mechanics itself. I'm never going to play it because I am definitely not going to go pick up a physical copy here within the next 2 days or whatever it is before they shut those servers down forever. I don't know. Loki, have you played it?
No, but I have seen that there is a copy of Concord. You can look it up for yourselves. Just look up Concord game on eBay right now for $25,000. And I would think this would just be the cherry on the top of the mistakes of the PS5 if Concord was the rarest, most expensive game for that console. Okay, so throughout the years, you'll see all kinds of stuff. I've got one of the most expensive PS4 games sitting over there. It's called Godzilla. It's a very rare PS4 game. They sell for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in mint condition. I would find it so very hilarious if Concord isn't the game that sells for $10,000, $15,000 in the next couple of years and becomes the most expensive resold PS5 game. That would just be the chef's kiss.
You got to get them before they bury them in the desert like they did ET.
Yeah,
right?
ET. Yeah, no, I'm actually, that's funny because part of my evening's conquest, that sounds odd, is going to be going out to find a copy of this game to just purchase it for posterity or to buy one of the custom controllers for this game.
You know, let's talk about that custom controller for a second. Yeah. So last night I got on the PlayStation website and I was trying to see, because it's not a bad design for a controller. If it has nothing to do with the game, it's not an ugly controller. It has an interesting design to it. So I thought maybe they're going to be liquidating these things, but no dice. It's still $5 more than a regular PS5 controller. Now, while I was there, I did find the Astrobot controller, which I definitely pre-ordered that one because I love that. I'm okay. I played Astrobot or Astro's Playroom because everyone who has a PS5 has Astro's Playroom. But my daughter is in love with this little guy. She thinks he's amazing, and it's a game that she's small enough that she probably shouldn't be able to beat that game, but she's pretty darn close. So This is kind of a daddy-daughter thing here. So I picked up the Astro's Playroom controller, and I thought, do I want one of these Concord controllers? Because somebody is going to be coming into my house at some point and looking at that and go, where did you get this? I'm like, oh, This is official PlayStation. Let me tell you the story of $200 million of DEI garbage. Let me tell you the biggest mistake made by
like
a
a
major
war story.
studio.
Oh,
Have
my-
you heard tell of Concord?
Have you heard the story of Concord? Well, let me tell you, children. $200 million later.
Ironically, what if this is a linchpin that does cause everything to kind of fall apart?
It kind of is. You know, we haven't gotten to a story yet. We've got, like I said, 11. We're not getting to them all, but we've got 11 stories here. But we also have a new person to contribute to said things. Someone who might know a thing or two, and whose story I'm using one of in today's stream. It's Spencer.
The Prodigal Weeb returns. How's it going, gentlemen?
Thanks for rejoining us, sir. It's great to see you after your long absence. I added an extra G sound.
I'm super happy to be back. I'm happy to be able to stream with you guys regularly again, record videos with you again. I mean, you and I dropped the Concord one yesterday, and yeah. I want to go out today and like grab a copy of Concord. I want to go get it graded. Dude, it's so funny.
Dude, Stuttering Craig bought 2.
I saw he bought 1. I didn't see he bought 2.
Oh, yeah, he was holding up 2. I was like, oh, dude, bought 2.
Spencer, we were just
Uh.
talking about how there's already one on eBay for $25K. That's way insanely high. Don't buy that. Don't think that'll be a good investment. But it would be funny if this is the most expensive resold game for the PS5. That would be this console generation stinks, cherry on top.
That's what I've been saying, Loki, is that like I feel that they're gonna make some money now because everybody's gonna rush out to buy a physical copy of Concord. So they at least made something. It's not gonna help, right? It's like throwing a nickel into a 400K debt, but hey, it's something. It's a nickel you didn't have before.
It is, and I brought this up because there it is. He got the other one up. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Jonas. This is the controller. Right now, it is spendy, but this might be worth a trip to wherever because this ain't coming back, kids.
I think at this point, this is a website exclusive. Oh, it says it's currently unavailable now.
Oh, everybody bought it.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you GameStop Canada does not even have Concord listed.
That is the coolest thing to come out of Concord. I'm not gonna lie, I like that design. It's sort of neat. It reminds me of Luke's targeting computer. You know, I'm sure that's what they were going for the extra member berry, please like us angle, but nonetheless, it's cool.
That really looks like the last Starfighter.
Oh yes, that too.
Line down.
Too. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll just point out, this is what I got instead. It showed up on screen, but
yes. Oh my gosh.
This is perfect.
Jonas, if you go to if you try to go to the official page for Concord, like the Sony PlayStation page for Concord, you get a 404 now, and the image is Astrobot because that's their like default 404 image. But I feel like that's just a perfect cherry on top. A deserved dance on the grave.
Yeah, and just for everybody to know here, this is the Spider-Man 2 one. What is this camo one? Is that COD? Oh no, it's just camo.
It's just camo.
Yeah, I have that one. That one.
But this one right here, except for the fact that PS5 controllers only last about a year, maybe 2, I might actually be tempted to replace the sticks when this one starts to drift. I don't want to pay the extra, whatever, $120 to get one of those Edge controllers.
Oh my god!
Because I feel like that's overpaying to solve. To solve for the drift problem that these have. It's $80 for one of these. They should not have drift the way that the Nintendo ones have.
They shouldn't be $80. This is beyond insane. Like I know controllers have always been historically a little pricey, but $80 freaking dollars for another controller that's a game at the very least. That could be 2 games.
Yeah,
that could be 4 if you're smart about your money.
I'm used to that price in Canada, so
hey,
been seeing that forever.
In real money.
I hate to interrupt the conversation here because it's sparkling, but we actually have super chats we got to get to before we even get to our first story, which we still haven't done yet. Yeah, and I think we're gonna change the order in which I was presenting things because we're definitely here to talk about Concord, so we might as well as soon as we get to our wonderful super chats. Jay The greatest number in the alphabet ever for $5 says, Jonas, Sticker Brush Symphony was the name of the song you were trying to remember yesterday morning.
You're absolutely correct. Sticker Brush.
Wow.
I looked it up
It's a
while we were
brush
meandering on here, but yes. If anybody doesn't know, it's the level. It's Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, and of course you're in the sticker brushes, and you got the whatever the parrot character is taking you through there. Great soundtrack.
Yeah, well,
just top tier game. Donkey Kong Country 2 is probably top 10 for me.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And whenever I get, by the way, I do think I've fixed my streaming problem. I mentioned that right before we brought in Spencer. I think I figured out how we can do this without overload. We're not going to use StreamYard, so I just got to figure out a way to do super chats. But
I thought you said it was your 386 computer that was having the problem.
My TRS 80,
Trash 80,
Commodore 64.
I'm on an Apple II right now, so get with the times, Jonas.
That thing's rocking it. Okay, so thank you very much for that, Jay. The best number in the alphabet right there. We've got TGV Monster, who was actually first today with a $2 super chat. Thank you for the pocket full of quarters. Hi, everyone. Don't know who's here, so hi, everyone. Well, hi, TGV
hello,
Monster.
Everyone.
Hello,
it's us.
My friends. Hello. All right, and then our good friend, this is Punk Waddle for $2, $2 and quarters.
Punk!
Hey, what's up?
Love that guy.
The game was 7th, and then it was 6th. Yeah, I would say it was 86th, but I get your point.
The words are right out of my mouth.
Just, I want that on a shirt. I want 8 years, 8 days.
Ooh.
2 weeks to stop
so
the spread.
demoralizing.
Concord is
terrific.
Concord 19.
How much money
Spencer,
per year is that?
Start printing these out. Let's do this.
It's going on the Beach Punk store for temporary until we have an official TGP store. We'll have it up.
we need a TGP store. I was thinking about that this morning. All right, so let's see. Concord, 2 weeks to stop the spread.
Concord 19.
Concord 19. I'm tweeting that right now. Jonas Campbell has been marked safe from Concord 19.
2 weeks.
8 years to create, 2 weeks to kill.
Love it.
Clive Griffith for £5. What a great win for us, eh, Loki? Ha ha ha. Concord Bend.
Oh yeah. This is big. They $200 million, $200 million price tag. They've made like $1.5 million on game sales. Maybe they'll get some more, but like Spencer said, it's like a nickel. Throwing a nickel into $40 million worth of debt. Good luck.
Actually, if you just do the simple math, it is $100 million. $100 million a week.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go.
And wasn't Sony's financials already kind of iffy? Like this is not something they could absorb.
They started a whole studio for this, Space Dave.
They bought a studio for this.
That's usually
I want to speak for that game place. If there's any rich companies out there that just want to throw hundreds of millions of dollars at, I don't know, a big hole in the ground, we are more than willing to dig that hole for you.
Every week, it's either Loki or Dave ready to sell us out. And you know what? I'm on the train too. I want my cut.
All right, well, we're all part of it. Anyone that's
got a great idea.
Star Wars Outlaws, 10 out of 10. Let's do this.
We'll get a clean 7 out of 10, no matter what, from IGN.
If they take the insurance money, on this, they can't come out free to play. There's been a lot of people. It's going to go free to play, and it's going to be free to play, and they're going to rebalance. If they do that, they cannot collect on the insurance money. Right now, they have a chance. They have a chance to go, we really messed up. We really misgauged everything. It was a horrible release. They've already made that excuse. They can possibly take it and see if they can get insurance money out of it. If they free to play it, they can't do none of that.
That's a very good point. So are we Culture, do you want to hit super chats? Do you want to?
Yeah, I just want to finish these up. Yeah, I want to finish these up. Clive Griffiths, thank you for that.
We got this one.
Yeah, I know. I just said thank you for that. And then I think this is the last one we haven't gotten to from our friend Jacob Foxfires 964 for $5 worth of quarters. Thank you, my friend. This is for Jonas. Black Cat is coming to Fortnite, which I just think is interesting to see with all the rumors of her.
Yeah,
Well, you
I
mean
think
Sydney
I might
Sweeney?
have to check that game out now.
Yeah, the Sydney Sweeney rumors. Jonas, go ahead. But then I have something. I have something I want to comment on.
they know what they're doing here. I don't know how long it takes for them to get a skin from start to finish here. I don't think it takes long because they have the existing riggings for everything. It's not like it's going to be an unusual body type. They've got somebody that is probably this could even be a refit of an existing skin. I wouldn't be surprised.
And you've already got like the base design down, right? Like it's Black Cat. She exists.
Right. So it's. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it's a modified Catwoman. Honestly.
So hold on. Culture, can somebody bring up does anybody have a picture of her at the ready, or I can
Are we talking about Sydney Sweeney or just Black Cat?
Yeah.
Here? Because,
no, the Black Cat one, because this is here. Okay, I have a picture. I will open that image.
Don't forget we're PG on this channel.
Yeah, we are.
I know. It is a Fortnite load screen. I promise you. If your kids can play it, it can be shown on. Okay, cool. You have it. So I just want to comment this because I think you're completely right, Jacob and Jonas. Like, I think there is something to this. I think the timing of the rumors and the release, let's see. But I had one of the things that made me really laugh yesterday is somebody was like, oh yeah, look at that skin. That is clearly based on Sydney Sweeney. She's Black Cat. And I was just like, I can't even see it. Like, I don't even see the connection. Like, I believe there's something here, but that's not evidence.
Okay, I'm going to say it this way. Recently, Sydney Sweeney went on vacation at a lake in the Northwest, right?
She did.
She was wearing a black swimsuit with white trim. If you compare, if you compare her swimsuit to Black Cat, it will click in your mind, and you'll be like, "Oh, duh."
I think the rumors about her being
supposed
Black Cat,
to compete.
I'm going to say that. Okay, so there's very few actual MCU skins in Fortnite. I mean, there's a few here, and they're usually the lesser of the Marvel skins, in my opinion. Like they have War Machine,
Guardians, Scarlet Witch. They
Right.
got like
Loki.
one movie skin for everybody.
Maybe
They don't
Doctor
have like a bunch
Strange.
of them.
Right. So like
Loki.
Star-Lord is generic. The Loki, the Loki is actually a MCU style, but he's still, Fortnite-ish. But the ones that they struggle with a little bit, like the Captain Falcon, the Falcon Captain
Falcon
America.
Cap.
Yeah. That one is an MCU design, but the Cap design is not Chris Evans' Cap. In Iron Man, Doctor Doom, most of the previous Marvel skins from the Marvel season, not MCU designs. So there might be every now and then, like if they're going to get an actor's likeness in there, first of all, that actor is making bank because Tom Holland, he wants his money. Zendaya, she wants her money in order to do this. So I don't think that this is supposed to be anything about the MCU. I'm glad they put a Black Cat skin in the game. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable with my daughter buying it and parading around as Black Cat, but and I do agree that the
Yes.
Black Cat on the left looks a lot more fun.
I think I said this. Did I say this while we were on the pro show the other day? But like one of the best things about Fortnite, or like the biggest appeal to me of Fortnite, is that every character from every IP that's in that game looks better in Fortnite than they have in the last 10 to 15 years of their own comic books, movies, video games. Like, these characters look great. I would love to play a third-person action game with this art style, right? Instead of just a shooter. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been yelling at Jonas about it for like a week now, but look, I bought my Iron Spider.
It's been 2 days. It's been 2 days. We're gonna figure this out. By the way, this is another reason I'm working on the streaming setup. So yeah, we've got to get some Team Fortnite going on here because Flora from Under a Rock people want to challenge us. So
yeah, and I want to do it. I want to do it. I'm gonna try to reset up my Streamlabs that will allow me to have guests and still get all the little toys, including the chat. So I think we'll try to do that, or we will do it through Discord, which is how I used to do Mario Kart with everybody. But I think we will get there. We are smarts peoples, so we will figure it out. Speaking of smarts,
you speak French now?
I do.
Not me. Don't speak for me.
Okay, fine. What I do say is this: y'all are brilliant. Thank you for the support of the show. We are bringing back we've changed things a little bit. I will be populating this soon. This is the new layout for the top supporters for the channel until we get memberships. This is what it's going to be. We're going to have platinum, which is the overall monthly supporter, and the gold, silver, and bronze are for the individual streams. So this will be updated throughout the day while we are live as we go. So we have lots of competitors already in the chat, lots of ties. So I can't do anything yet, but what I can do is say, let's get to the next story. Gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to talk more about Concord? Because let me tell you, PlayStation.
It was a longer discussion than the game was alive.
I know, and that was the best thing you said yesterday. Was like it was being saying 2 weeks is, or saying a month, less than a month is being kind. It's true, but PlayStation, PlayStation did pull the plug on Concord, shuts the game down after less than 2 weeks, and offers full refunds. And again, this story coming from that Park Place. We've got all different sources today, so we're going to spread out the credit for finding these stories. But Firewalk announced it shut down Concord servers and will no longer be selling the game. It's done. In a blog post, Firewalk Studios game director Ryan Ellis announced that at this time, we decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. I have to ask a question, gentlemen. I will interrupt myself here. Who are their players?
Well, there's
game reviewers.
Oh, there's
30 of them. Yeah,
there's that one guy and his husband we talked about on that one video culture that got really upset that it wasn't like Destiny 2.
Yeah, they were looking for a Destiny thing.
I thought you guys mentioned all the staff that were required to pay it. Eventually stopped, and then that's what happened.
I mean, we saw like over the weekend, all the PlayStation-owned studios came out and were like, "We're having fun playing Concord this weekend. Good job, Firewalk." You saw it from like Insomniac and Naughty Dog. It was very embarrassing. So Sony probably forced them to play it just for metrics.
Well, and look, you can see that these studios are all lockstep on EDI, which is the way the UK says DEI, and we got another story coming up. We have another story coming up about that, but I'll continue on. I was hoping you guys knew what players they were marketing to or who this game was for, because I have no idea. But anyway,
this game is for the person who still thinks MCU humor is top tier, absolute, the funniest thing in the world. Who goes and sees I don't even know what was before Deadpool. What was it? It was whatever. The Marvels. They went and saw the Marvels and they laughed and they laughed and they thought it was so funny. And that's who this game was for.
Yeah.
I can tell you every single person in my viewing of the Marvels didn't find it funny. I asked all of them just now because they're in the room with me.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see an audience for this game from the beginning. I don't know who they were marketing to. I don't know who their player base was going to be. Well,
that kind of speaks into like who was their. Don't you have to do some sort of like, I don't know, homework to find out who this game will reach and do some test plays and stuff like that and interest?
You need to figure out what the customer wants. They haven't been doing that for a long time. But look, he went on further in the blog post to state that they're going to be offering full refunds. The best path ahead is to do that. The Concord sales cease immediately. They begin offering full refunds to all gamers who've purchased the game for PS5 and PC. If you purchase the game for PS5 from the PlayStation Store or PlayStation Direct, a refund will be issued back to your original payment method. And then the game was plagued with negative feedback from the onset, with many players decrying the game for its ugly designs and the promotion of a particular ideology, with the inclusion of modern thought processes that only certain handfuls of people are believing in. Of course, Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam curator list that was put together by Cabrutus Rambo, who is awesome, noted at the end of May. So the blank robot has pronouns in the next Sony game. All right. Yep. You could be a pronoun.
Well, it's very important.
Him, robot.
Although he is a one-off, which is appropriate when you consider it.
Yeah, and then the Mangalore's a good follow, by the way. Very, very funny, good stuff there. But OMG, literally a playable tank. This is the playable tank. This is Amari. Why is it that Amari...
I'm not against a playable tank. Like, that's nothing to laugh at. It's just that's an awful character design for it. Like, Bastion's cool from Overwatch.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, indeed. I
mean,
or
what do you call it? The power armors from Fallout. This is just this is your like if Sweet Baby Inc. and Black Girl Gamers could be personified, this is them right here. This is that character.
Well, I mean,
I just have to. I mean, when looking at these designs, let's talk about that for just a second. These designs, they are things that you might find in a video game, and it would be this, like, look, there's that weird thing. But the entire game is the weird thing from the background, front and center. Like the kind of thing that you would mock slightly as you walked by if you noticed it at all. None of these designs really stand out. I mean, even looking at this, it's kind of weird. It is weird if you think of it as a human person, but it's also just kind of bland in there. It's an entire game of background characters, and the only one that one on the right, that's the weird rotund one in the
with the goggles and the
floater jacket. I mean, that's the closest to an eye-catching design. And when it does catch your eye, it makes you go, "What in the world are they doing here?"
See, the best way I saw this put was that this game was over designed, like way too, like it was left in the cooker way too long. Because fundamentally, like if you look at the gameplay, it is fine if it were a game released again like 6 years ago, 8 years ago when Overwatch was a thing. But all the characters, all of the writing, all of it was focus tested to sand off all the edges and make it all super marketable and super safe and appealing to everyone, but appealing to no one. And that, because nobody wanted to take a direction and do something unique or take a risk, they just wanted to, try and make everyone happy and everyone happy. It just was a disaster. It's a disaster we're living through.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I mean, the idea originally is like, oh, okay, so you're gonna do like you're gonna do that game in like a D&D setting. Oh, interesting. But then you play it and you're like, this is cringy and stupid, and you guys just you made it lame, and I can't say the other word on this show.
Right.
But that's what you did, and I feel like
Kathleen Kennedy did it.
saying,
yes.
You Kathleen Kennedy did it. Why did you do that? But it's gotten worse. So if you really think about it, when this started, it might have been like this little fringe element of let's put this and this in this game. And you've got your eye rolling moments. I think the first Insomniac Spider-Man was kind of like that. I was like, oh, I really love this game. But then you got to deal with this version of Mary Jane. That's like, I'm this and that. And I broke up with you because you weren't man enough to take care of me and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, skip dialogue, Mary Jane every time. Get me away from it. It's horrible. But then with 2, it's even worse. And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse to the point now where they're just openly saying, we made the game with all of this. And it's not for you. It's for the people that enjoy this stuff, that have said they have all these years. And then they don't show up and play anything. I wonder what's happening.
But that's the entire point, Loki, and it's why these kinds of character models, which here, let's slap it back up. That's not what I meant to do.
Exactly, those kind of character models. Say no, gamers. Say no.
I would play this game. I would like to see. Vash and I were
Larry.
Vash and I from that Park Place were just looking at the Darth Maul mod for Black Myth Wukong. I would love to see a Culture Casino mod of Black Myth Wukong.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know about that. What I do
dressed up like Gandalf.
Black
Hobo Gandalf. Gandalf Wukong.
That beard, like having the wind physics on it as he's twirling around. Yeah.
And you could stroke your beard like the masters do, the Kung Fu masters.
Look, you're all very flattering, but this was the thing I was trying to point out. I'm like, nobody wants to play this game. They didn't have anybody lined up. Firewalk is a giant flop as a studio. I mean, this is one of the stories, and I know there were similar over at Bounding, and there were similar over at the other sites that we follow and grab. But the counts are declining by the player counts went down by 42% after the first weekend. Nobody wanted this game. Lots of people came out and just kind of fired their mouth off about it. VGC. Got into it with everybody. This is the player count, guys. This is reality for a moment. This was very early on. This was beta access. Remember covering this, Loki?
Yep.
Yeah.
Their beta.
Yeah. Double the actual player count, almost.
But it's crazy, right? And then it continues. This is the open early access beta numbers, which were better. But
still bad.
Better. They were better.
Yeah. But then from there, I mean, after people got a look at the game, they were no longer interested in the game. And this is what we ended up with.
I'm just going to point out here. Oh, wow. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. So servers cost money, especially for multiplayer games. It's not like you're pinging a server. The DRM servers cost them money, but I suppose they do that for piracy reasons. But when we talk about a massive multiplayer online, the game lives on a machine that you are not holding at your house, right? So when you have something like this with matchmaking servers that were overloaded trying to find people, because we were hearing for 8 minutes people were in lobbies and not being put in games. So they eventually just turned off matchmaking and just put whatever player they could find that was on and put them into matches together. And now we're hearing stories that
anyone. Wow.
Yeah. And now we're hearing that people are spamming this game to try to get their platinum trophy in Concord. See, there's the real collectible right there. The platinum trophy on Concord. There are people that are trying their darndest to get that thing before this.
And how poetic is this? The way they're trying to achieve it is basically they go into this certain game match and they just throw themselves off the map. They are literally task force Xing themselves for this achievement at the end of its lifespan. It's pottery. It rhymes.
But they have to. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, and if you weren't enabling crossplay, you were not getting a match for 8 to 15 minutes. That's how few people were playing the game, and you kept seeing the same players over and over again. If you look at the PSN profiles, this is one of the best parts of the story, right? This is the number of game owners that they counted over there for PSN profiles was only 1,303 people.
Oh my!
Beautiful.
Okay, my. And they do you know how they got that? They got this first takedown trophy down here at the bottom. I'm hovering over. Yeah. Do you know 97%? This is the only trophy that you can get if you just play the game. Everybody gets this. Eventually you will take somebody down, even if it's by accident. You had 1,264 people get that trophy.
That's abysmal.
So
the trophy metric here, when they say 97%, are they saying 97% of people who have trophies or 97% of players altogether?
97% of players altogether. The number of game owners is 1,303.
Yikes!
Yeah, big yikes, big yikes. And look, it's not like we didn't see this coming. I think we were the people predicting this would be coming. I know that Loki and I did videos, Spencer and I did videos.
Anybody with eyes could have seen this coming.
But leading into this game, we knew this was going to be a problem. And if you take a look at this, as we get a few more super chats that we'll jump right into in just a moment, there's this story, right? IGN writer Stella, what's her name? Stella Chung claims PlayStation never believed in Concord after game is shut down in less than 2 weeks. What would you have them do?
Jonas, they supported it and believed in it for 8 years. Don't sit there and tell me that a game that was in development for 8 years, Sony didn't try and push and make a success.
I will give credence to it, but in a counter way that I think she's not meaning it, right? I think Sony didn't believe in the game in some capacity because before that initial trailer, right? During the direct, which was only 6 months ago or so, nothing about this game. They didn't market it. They didn't tease it. There were no previews, no beta codes. They didn't try to get anybody to look at this game. They shot themselves in the foot. Like, I think that's completely hilarious.
Well, look, Jonas, Spencer, I think you're right 100%.
I wish I
but
could be that handsome.
Me too.
Hey,
Me too.
I know. But Jonas actually mentioned something brilliant just a couple moments ago, which is that this costs money. This you have to like leave bandwidth open. You have to buy bandwidth. You need servers. You need all that stuff.
Well, all that stuff's paid for the first year the game is online. So all that got wrapped into whatever cost Sony put out at the beginning. That is why they're canceling it now before they spend even more of what's already there. Because if they don't get it back, if they don't get something back with insurance, if they don't get some kind of return in investment, that's a $200 million bomb on its finances.
Right, and not to mention, of course, not to forget to mention the fact that this is a multiplayer game that was supposed to have heavy story elements that were going to come up
vignettes
every few
weeks.
Those
weekly vignettes culture. We never get to see those weekly vignettes now. I am devastated. I'm devastated. I might not be able to go on because we're not going to get the vignettes that we were promised for each character.
Well, assuming as well that they're going to be adding characters to this game. So there are designs that we don't even know about yet, which I'm hoping that those hit the internet. If whoever said no to this, by the way, has to be very high up at Sony. This was not a decision made by the Firewalk people because it would be against their best interest. They would have been wanting any chance they get in order to do this. Probably wasn't even PlayStation Studios. Head of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Hiroko Totoki. I think he might still be interim head. He might be official head now, is the last name that I found here. Could be him, or it could be the literal head of Sony saying, no, I want this off the books immediately. Give me the tax write-off instead of this embarrassment. There's no reason to, quote unquote, give this a chance at this point because they would have to remarket the game completely from this point out.
These kind of games survive on, the whales that keep it going. If the player count's low, if they can support
but that's also an odds thing, right? If you have 100,000 players, you could probably bet on, let's be really generous, 2% of them being whales. 2% of 600 people is, I don't know. I'm the only Asian on the planet who can't do math, but it's gotta be like what, 3 people maybe?
Well, okay, so set that all aside and just imagine this.
I wish my parents could, but hey.
There was no upside to keeping this game up. None. Zero. Right.
Yeah,
and real quickly, this coming from Stella, right? At Parallax Stella. Okay. Saying, my heart breaks for Firewalk Studios. Why? They put a product in the marketplace. Nobody wanted it. The fact that it wasn't even given at least 6 months to properly sit through a season and adjust as a proper live service game is insane to me. Well, no, it's the whole thing we just got done talking about. There's no support for it. There's no fan base for it. This game wasn't made for anybody. And then finally, it's very clear PlayStation didn't believe in this from the start and failed to support it. Now, look, we've seen this happening, and I kind of want to move on to the next phase of the conversation, but you've seen games fail and fail fast. I mean, the Squad, kill the Justice League, for example, right? Because you can't really say that one word on the platform and be
Task Force X.
Happy. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Task Force X was basically, the spawning of layoffs. Gentlemen, when do we see layoffs at Firewalk?
It's got to be now.
Very
last week.
Very soon. If they haven't already started, they're doing it now.
Yeah.
This was 8
had
years.
A few people before they launched, didn't they?
It's 8 years. They've been doing this game for 8 years. If this doesn't completely obliterate Firewalk Studios and decimate them to the point where Sony just goes, we're going to take them and absorb them into us.
I don't
Microsoft
know. That's kind of what they've done at this point, right? They own this
Microsoft.
studio 100%. They bought them in 2018. Mm-hmm. So I think that the servers being shut down and the game being shut down might have bought them a few more months of existence, other than the fact that they now have nothing to do. I don't know. They've said they're reassessing. Like the official word is they are reassessing what they're going to do with this game. But the market has heard we're shutting this entire thing down. And I think that's probably, you know, I don't think we're too far off. But
I think that's just corporate speak, honestly.
Yes.
Well,
I 100% believe if they do not get the insurance for it, they will go free to play. But I think they're holding off on all that right now because they want to see if they can get an insurance claim and get any bit of their money back and just say, there we go, it's done.
And Loki, to your point, like they're probably also battling like, okay, do we scrap it completely? Because they do have all these vignettes. Are they looking for a way to release those separately and still write it off? Like there's probably a bunch of those discussions happening too. I don't want to see them, but they probably do.
Putting good, okay, so I'm a little business 101. You don't throw good money after bad. To retool this as a live service game is a problem in and of itself. Not to mention the fact that the audience has soundly and roundly rejected this. Okay, they don't want it. There isn't a big enough audience out there to draw even games at a regular rate or basis. As far as I know, it hadn't been planned to be ported to phones. If so, it's woefully behind. So you're not going to be able to have enough different competing platforms you can cross play on to make this worthwhile. You can't monetize something nobody wants. I think it would be a terrible decision to move forward on this, and I think the whole acquisition of that studio is going to be called into question. I think the person who did that is going to be in some very, very big trouble. Now, we have some super chats, I think, that are related to this, and then we've got one that I will do when we are between story breaks for Jacob Foxfire. So please stick around, Jacob. We see it. We've got Minimal Effort Live. How's it going? Check out Minimal Effort Live for $5 in the
Tebow.
There you go. Cover your ears, Jonas, but Concord suffers from the same issue as Veilguard and Dustborn, the Fortnite-esque autistic Tumblr art garbage aesthetic. Holy cow!
I'm going to disagree with you on the Fortnite aesthetic here. I think the Fortnite aesthetic is meant to be cartoony and appeal to children.
I'm with Jonas on this one.
Dustborn, there's an uglification going on there.
Hit the gritty.
And then I couldn't even describe the blandness of Concord appropriately. Veilguard it's whatever they're trying to do here. They're all trying to go for a different style.
Yeah,
and I think that's a mistake that all of them seem to be making at the same time. Fortnite is a very mass market appeal kind of game. So I'm going to disagree a little bit, but I get where you're coming from, Tebow.
Well, the art style there, my friend, is this Cal Arts. They're aiming for this Cal Arts garbage that nobody wants and isn't as aesthetically pleasing as any other way to do things. And
but how old is Fortnite now?
Is it on 4 or 5 years now?
Something like that, 4 or 5.
Wasn't it 2017? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's been around longer than we think it has.
2017.
July 21st, 2017.
7 years. Okay. Oh. So 7 years Fortnite's been doing its thing. And it's got a reputation, and there's a reason why people like it, and there's a reason why people play it. If you try and start that all over again with something new that isn't even close to being the same thing, and they fail, Fortnite's got its feet under it. It did it. It's successful. It makes money. You can't just replicate that with woke nonsense. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're right. All I was going to say is, but that loops it in with, like, being around forever, like World of Warcraft or whatever. It'll be the one game like that, the one, battlefield game like that. I forget what that's called. Anyway, it's that one in that genre that'll live forever, right? I mean, Evercrack eventually went away. I mean, a lot of these other MMORPGs that tried to compete with WoW went away.
WoW's going away to Final Fantasy 14.
That's actually true. Yeah, that is a shift. But this actually gets me from here to back to Jacob Foxfire's comment about the thing you still have in the background, if you want to bring it up, Jonas, about Black Cat, right? Jacob Foxfire says for $5 and quarters, I get what you're saying, but I believe in purposeful marketing. This is plus 2 Dooms fighting and Marvel Rivals is definitely setting seeds for later. And
I totally agree with this. And I would say that this is Epic taking advantage of the social media discourse, because
Yeah.
they are much more flexible in what they can do. I bet that they have a lot of character models back there that they don't have approval for in the game. So to me, it's not like a Happy Meal toy where they plan that thing 2 years in advance. With this, they can stick something in the game
and
as
then
long as
release
they've
it
got
even if your
approval.
movie's not due out for another year.
Right. And that's happened a ton of times on Fortnite, where something will come out like Frozen Empire. Like, why Sony owns part of Fortnite, so why in the world did they not re-release the Ghostbuster skins when Frozen Empire came out? It seems like a pretty obvious choice.
Well,
right.
and
So I think that this didn't take much prep time, and I'm agreeing with you here, Jacob.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You guys are definitely on the same page. But I will take it a step further. During the Frozen Empire campaign, they should have turned the bus into an Ecto-1.
Ooh, except that they have the Ecto-1 glider, which my wife hates it when I use that and I play as that because she thinks it's an alarm going off.
I love that sound. Anyway, thank you for that. I'm grateful that we were able to loop that into this Bass Player 2011 iffy, excuse me, for $4.99 in quarters, $5 in quarters, guys. We are doing great. We're going to be at the arcade all day. Pretty soon we'll be able to buy pizza. Very excited. Focus groups ironically make games less focused. Yes, they do. Rather than focusing on one genre, they shove it all in there. And
Amen, brother.
That's a brilliant observation, I think. I think that's part of the problem with Dustborn, right? You know, it's a rhythm game. No, it's not. It's an adventure game. No, it's not. It's just like, what was it? What is it? And why is it so political? And why is it funded by governments that don't, want to subvert the United States?
I think
why are they mad at us after telling us it's not made for you?
No, I don't think it is. I like that Jonas is leaving that same thing in the background, because obviously we have to refer to Black Cat every once in a while, which I can't wait to do.
This is a completely different marketing strategy than Dustborn. I got to point out.
Use our creator code when you buy the skin.
What I appreciate is that we have senses of humor here, but we also have brilliant audience out there. We have one of the best audiences on YouTube. Thanks for being out there. We will move on. Next super chat is from our friend Radical Drago for £5 Now, gentlemen, this is like $7.50 in quarters. So, we might be able to buy a 2-liter of soda pop. We're coming up on it. The question being, do you guys think the success of Black Myth Wukong among 3 woke failures affected their decision to cancel the game? Oh, Jonas, Spencer, Loki, I'm turning you loose. What do you guys think here?
I think it's right on the money here. If you look at how well the market responds to something and how well the market does, you can't blame the market when something like Black Myth Wukong, which by the way, it's single player, so it's not an apples to apples comparison, but people are playing video games. Fortnite doing well. I don't mean to bring Fortnite into every topic, but it is a multiplayer game here. When you look at other people's successes, you can't blame the market for this.
Yeah. No, you can't.
See, I actually disagree with that, because while Wukong is amazing, or people are, let me put it this way, while people are playing Wukong and liking Wukong, I don't think that success had anything to do with just the abject failure of Concord. Again, if Concord had even a moderate player base, they would have kept it online, but it is just it was just a big old capital F failure. It would have been canceled whether Wukong was out or not.
I'm agreeing with Spencer, guys. I think, and sorry, Jonas, but
no, that's fine. That makes sense.
It totally makes sense. I think no matter what, Wukong or not, this would have happened. So.
And finally, I'm saving this question for Space Dave specifically, because he's a historian in games. Space Dave, related to this question, have we ever seen this? This is kind of unprecedented, where you have like 3 things that just are like garbage, trash fires, and then you have this one standout all at the same time, like Wukong. I don't remember that.
It's historically happened quite often in every generation of game consoles. I think we always get this situation where something objectively fails, and then you get something just hot off the press like this. So, but the thing is, do they ever learn their lessons? And that's the true, $250,000 question is, do these game studios ever learn their lessons? And going back to what you guys were saying about, do they know their audience or their market correctly to the correct audience? And do they not, by this point, understand the gaming audience? And you have to be careful not to overcrowd that section of the audience, because there's been a lot of failures, especially in multiplayer games, the last 20 years. Anthem was a big one, right? When you're trying to copy, as Loki said, something that's already been refined and perfected, you're going to get these 3 failures in a row. And the odd game, I notice single players tend to pop out more often than multiplayers,
right?
Because they're a little more focused, I would say, right? So,
well, let me ask follow up then. Anthem, 2 years later, was a good game, but nobody was playing it.
Yeah, it was too late. You only have one opportunity to make a great impression, right?
Yeah,
so
one bite.
The only one that was the exception was Cyberpunk
2077.
Cyberpunk, yeah.
Well, No Man's Sky as well. No Man's Sky was a disaster. And now it's actually a banger of a game.
No, but again, they could have had a much greater audience, and admittedly, it was interesting and it did get polished. But you shouldn't be taking 2 years to do that, and it's
more than half
their
audience walked away too.
Audience has moved on by then.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, I've played that game, but it's a quick, 3 or 4 months for me, and then I put it down. There was nothing new. It was the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah,
again.
Repetitive games. I mean, Destiny built that reputation real quick. Yeah. So, real quick, we got a couple more super chats, and then I'm going to lead you into a different part of this story that we're not thinking about or nobody is talking about. We want to be the first, so stick around. But the Wild Man of Yavin sent $5 in quarters. Thank you. Saying $5 for the greenhouse fund. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have to get cracking on that. As soon as it actually hits fall where I am in the desert Southwest, I will go outside without melting and start construction. And then the Culture Builds channel will... It won't be that late. But then the Culture Builds channel will be resurrected, and you guys will see how to build a greenhouse and do it so that your neighbors don't know. How about that? And then finally,
Dave's
Jacob
not
Fox.
Here, man.
Dude, what are you growing back there? Anyway, so Jacob Foxfires for another $2 in quarters. Thank you, my friend. Man, so not only do we have pizza, guys, and a 2-liter bottle of soda, but I think we're going to be at the arcade until nighttime. Then we got to figure out supper. But Jacob Foxfire for another $2 in quarters says Battleborn lasted longer than Concord. That's true. That's actually true. Oh, wow. That's so true. Oh, my goodness. Well, one last take.
Jeez, Battleborn.
It was bad. One last take on this is this question that I don't think anybody's really focused on yet, and I think we should. I think we should be one of the first. I mean, maybe Minimal Effort did. I don't know. But let's do this. After Concord has been shut down, right? Can we officially say that the majority of gamers have so much power that they can literally eliminate garbage games from the planet just by not buying them, just by following the same, not necessarily ideology, but the same direction? Did we actually influence this failure here at That Game Place or Minimal Effort or any of the other gaming channels you might, go? I think one of them's like BMG or something. But does anybody else think that we had the kind of influence to crush this game?
I don't know if I would say we had the influence, but because, and I say that because I think we're more amplifying what our viewers and readers want to know about and hear about. I think they are the ones who made this all happen because they were the ones who en masse went, nah, I'm not giving you any money from this. I'm not even going to check it out. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm done. I've got better things. I got to go spend $70 on eggs. I got better things to do with my time.
Yeah, yep. no doubt.
Yeah, we are in a recession, so money nowadays is not thrown around as quite often as it was maybe 2 years ago, right?
I don't think it's just that, though, because I remember around the time Cyberpunk came out, and I understand that was years ago, there was this thing where people were like, I know we don't pre-order games, I know we don't spend money beforehand, but it's CD Projekt Red, we can trust them and we can do this. I said it. I was like, I've got it pre-ordered. I don't pre-order anything, but it's CD Projekt Red. I know they're not going to fail me. And it was so bad that
try
people
your best and you don't succeed.
people are noticing now. They notice it with Capcom. They notice it with Ubisoft. They notice it with CD Projekt Red. All that trust that the gaming community used to have, all that, I know I can go to Capcom and get a good Resident Evil game, so I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna be cool until it comes out and I get to play it, and then I'll give you what I think. Now it's like, please don't be woke, please don't be woke, please don't have this in there, please don't have that in there, and we're just tired of it.
I think it speaks into larger studios in general, where this is a historical thing where, like, Ubisoft used to be something I could rely on and trust. They made good games, but now it's all garbage pretty much. And it's, as you said, Capcom was reliable. So every great company seems to get its head in the clouds and gets too powerful and confident. And EA is a good example of that, right? I mean, I remember in the 90s, late 90s, playing anything EA I touched was good. It was, and admittedly, and now they are like the bane of the gaming society. So nobody wants anything with EA's tagged on it. You're like, oh goodness, it's going to be terrible in some way or shape or form. So.
Anything that has dice on it. Anywhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dutch Butters, what's up, my friend? Over there at Salty Nerd Podcast. Great to see you. Guys can check out Salty Nerds. Those are my buddies, my pals. I'll be on there this Saturday, and it'll be just me and Dutch holding down the fort. Of course, there might be some other people on the panel.
I agree with Dutch right here. Yeah. Time is precious
Odin
too.
and others, but
that's right. And we're hearing, with all the stuff we're hearing about GTA 6, guys, there could very well be a giant, big woo-ha at the end of that game where you're like, I don't ever want to touch this ever again because y'all did this stupid thing where you just had to do this. And if people don't go back to that, like 5, every once in a while, I'm like, man, I want to go back and hang out with Franklin and Trevor, and I want to go have these fun times with the boys. You know, the boys are back in town and have some fun on GTA 5. If you can't do that with 6,
that's an interesting thing to say, though. Will this, because I'm 100% positive they delayed GTA 6 a year minimum, and that they were ready to go. But is this game, what we're talking about, Concord, is it make them extremely nervous about GTA 6, and will they rewrite and redo it?
Okay, I'm going to force Jonas to talk now.
Yeah,
Jonas, that's a good question, right? Because of the backlash that everybody's receiving, and we have a story later that I'm going to force to get covered today, either on this live stream or in a video that we release rapidly, maybe tomorrow. But is there now additional pressure on all these studios to weigh whether or not leaning heavily into the garbage nonsense narrative? Is that really causing the studios to delay their things coming out? Like, I mean, we already know there's going to be some political garbage in GTA 6. We are going to broadly report on that as soon as I confirm any of it. But I mean, there are a lot of people telling me what is in this game. Jonas, is this really going to change things?
I think movies are starting to learn their lessons. I'm not sure. I think the game industry is a few years behind the movie industry at this point, right. But I don't know for a fact. I'm going to say that a lot of this is California based in that same way. It's a lot is creativity based. You have a lot of people, especially if they are creating their own fandoms and worlds, the creative spaces tend towards this kind of stuff. So I don't think that, I think we're maybe, we may not be the tip of the spear, but we're on the head of the spear here. And then I don't think the game developers are anywhere near the tip of the spear here. So it's going to take them a longer time. They have to see it. Let's say somebody reacted to the propaganda Djangoistic stuff in Helldivers 2, and they're like, oh, well, look, they're making fun of all these the Starship Trooper kind of thing here. What if we made a game like that? Well, we're already talking 5 years out before we would see something like that. This is a game that took 8 years to develop. Don CK had a really good comment. He said, we're all assuming that game is the only thing that Firewalk is working on. If Firewalk is working on more than Concord and season 2, 3, 4, 5 on Concord, they planned for this thing to be successful for years. So if they're working on something else, more power to them that they've got something that they can say, we're going to switch right now and we're going to work on we're going to be ancillary staff for Last of Us remastered or whatever Sony needs remastered again. I
Concord remastered.
That would be spectacular. Actually, that's a great April Fool's joke. No one remember that. Nobody remember that, and we're going to do that for our April 1st joke. I think that they are behind the times in a big way. When we see a studio like an Insomniac or a Naughty Dog or a Sucker Punch do a game that is set in the modern day and doesn't start its marketing with something about racial injustice, then that's the moment where I start having hope for the AAA in-house developers. But until that point, I think we're in the right space to be commenting on this on a regular basis.
So I would throw a prediction out that if GTA 6 pulls a Marvels next year, that will collapse the entire gaming industry, or at least severely cripple it. I would throw that prediction out there for next year.
I think it's a safe prediction. I really do. I mean, we've got super chats to cover, but we have a story that's literally is the reason I asked the question. So Suna Soul Silver for a Canadian $5 and quarters. I'm not sure they'll work on our. I'm not sure those will work on our American arcade games, but
they will actually.
Thank you.
They do.
Use tokens here.
Oh, we're using tokens now.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, if we're using Tolkien, then we're all
We have
good.
Gollum.
Wow, we're Rings of Power right then.
Yeah, that's right. Well, darn, we can't talk about that. What we can talk about is the fact that DPR has been known to have buggy launch that includes Witcher 3. Cyberpunk was just overhyped and have a killer marketing team, and people forgot about it. Yeah. I mean,
I agree with all of that. Besides the overhyped, it was overhyped, but it wasn't just that. You look at the game when it released, and you look at the game now, and you have two almost completely different games. I'm talking about taking them as a whole, not like 5 minutes from the beginning of the game, but as a whole game. The game you got at launch and the game you have now is completely and totally different.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And I like I said, I go back and play that game, and now they even adjusted the systems and everything else that you can do in your trees. So I go back and play that now, and I'm like, oh wow, this is almost a totally different game, but still has wonderful storytelling. That storytelling is just phenomenal. It's hard for me to even think about how much time they spent on it and how poorly it looked when it released. One last grab, and again, I stole this from Salty Nerd Podcast, where Dutch Butters is a contributor. They also do gaming, guys, so do check out Salty Nerd Gaming, I think. But this is the current thing. We've got too many people tied for silver and bronze, but we can say thank you for this month to Jacob Foxfires for being the leader in the clubhouse for the month, and also the gold supporter because of the contributions today. So thank you for
Our
that.
boy.
Thank you, sir.
That's right. Now, let's move on to this. The reason I asked the question, Jonas, unless you have something to say.
No, I'm just going to say I see the pushback about de-wokeifying a game and in the idea of de-wokeifying a game. The issue comes is it's not like we have to get 5 people here to agree on how to de-wokeify a game. The problem is when you have an established studio at Sony, which is a Fortune 500 company, you have to get an entire department to agree to de-wokeify a game. So let's imagine you've got 12 blue or purple or red or whatever color of the rainbow haired people that have been working on this game and putting their heart and soul into it. And to say to them, hey, I'm going to need you to take out all those ugly haircuts. You know the one? If you don't know
Go
the one,
blonde,
look
not
in the
blue.
mirror.
The SJW haircut?
Right. To convince an entrenched, quote unquote, creative corporate environment to go against their best interest. This is why with a AAA game, when you are essentially commanding an army to make creative decisions against their own philosophy, that's why it takes so long to write a ship. This is why Disney is going to take forever to turn, if it ever turns.
But Jonas, I would suggest that just like with entertainment, that they've pushed out the old game people, the old people like us that used to make these games. And not all of them were great, but they've pushed them aside and taken their jobs. And this is, as you said, all that's left. So if you're going to clean house, you got to like literally clean house.
And it used to be
how
smaller.
complicated would that be? So
what Space Tape's talking about, what you're talking about, brother, it used to be so much smaller.
Yeah.
Jonas,
5 or
I'll
6
bring up
people.
the very best game that you love the most, the original Mass Effect. I had like 12 people at BioWare working on it. That
Right.
game is leagues ahead of 3. You
Yeah.
can say whatever you want to about it, but those 12 guys made a game that was absolutely wonderful. The story was top notch. The graphics were great. The exploration was fun. It is objectively a better game than the third one. It was also much more well received because it had a good ending to it, and it was a completed game.
But that's
3
historical, Loki,
kinda
right?
wasn't.
Because when you go back every generation of games, except I think when we hit the 2000s, that's when they started making these mega teams. There was a lot of hits that were, as you said, GoldenEye, the original Mario. All of these games were very small, contained, focused groups of creators, and they did the best games and that we remember to this day, Final Fantasy and such. But now they're overproduced, too many voices, too many cooks in the kitchen. They've overcomplicated, making it like a 200-hour game. I mean, it is what it is. And it's, as Jonas said, you got a mix of now a new generation of creators that, you know, they've gone through college or university, and this is what they were taught, and they agree with this. And it's a mentality, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
So
I
it's
think-
no
I think
longer
Yes.
it's no
Yeah, I
longer
think
about I'm going to make a good game. It's I'm going to tell you a message and you're going to like it, or we're going to label you, which is what we see all the time, right?
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think the obvious solution here, before we get to put up a very generous super chat,
Yeah, I know we
is,
got to do that.
is Square Enix needs to stop right now and stop with all this 3D games nonsense and make sequels to Final Fantasy VI, make them 2D.
Yeah,
maybe
I
you
agree.
can maybe you can update the soundtrack a little bit, but you need to have an 8-bit version here.
Or they
Just
could have
solves your
audio,
entire
right?
problem.
Real audio voices. They could still do that in 2-bit.
Or
Or,
Well, they
It's
did this for Final Fantasy IV. What was it, Aftermath or
Yeah, they
Final
did
Fantasy
after
IV?
years. Yeah,
After years, thank you. The after years. So they've done that. They did it. Why do you not want to do it again? You came out with these episodic levels for, I think it wasn't the GameCube, it was the Wii. So you came out with these episodic levels for the Wii. And then you release them on Steam, you release them on other consoles where you can play the after years. Just do some more of that. We are waiting. We will play it. We will buy it. You don't have to do a Final Fantasy VII remake, rebirth, redegrade, whatever they're
He
going
does
to call
not
the
speak
third
for all
game.
of us.
You know, and I like that too. I like that too, Spencer. I
here's
do.
what I
But you
want.
don't
Here's what I
have
want,
to.
though. I want them to demake Final Fantasy VII. I want a 2D Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X. I'm buying that. I'm playing that on the channel. If we ever
Okay,
do
well,
that.
you know what I'm buying is the super chat you're about to bring up, Jonas.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah, let's bring that.
Holy cow,
bad
the
boy up.
generosity. Bass player Iffy has definitively changed the scoreboard. We will show that in just a moment, but saying for 50, you know what? We are staying all night. We are going to rent out the arcade tonight. We got pizza. We're going to have 2-liter bottles of soda. We are good.
We got those big red cups from Pizza Hut.
That's right. Solo cups. We got some solo cups. But this is happening because so few games are being released compared to 15 to 20 years ago. Yes, because they're all focused on tentpole AAA titles instead of giving us like the same thing we're asking for with movies and television. Just give us a good thing. Like it doesn't have to be a spectacular thing. Right? Just
And they're
a good
spending
thing.
hundreds of millions of dollars on each game.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Just-
When a team
Yes.
of guys back in Montreal started working on Mass Effect, they were 12 guys in like a 4-room office
Yep.
in Canada, sitting there making a game together and hanging out, eating lunch every day, sleeping in the office because they're working so many hours. Now you've got a giant building that houses thousands of people at Ubisoft working on one game, and then they have a division over
Right.
here, and they have a division in this country and that country, and they're all working on their little things, but all that money is going in to make one product a
And
piece.
you know what, Loki?
And
To
it's-
that same point, like back in that era, a game could fail. It was allowed to. You could fail and go, dang, that didn't hit, but we didn't bank on it being $1 billion win, so we can, pick ourselves back up,
Yep.
learn from our mistake, and
Yes.
make a better game the second time around. And how many games do we know that get way improved.
Culture, I
between
think
their
you,
first and second entries.
Yep.
Culture, you'll know what I'm talking about when you think of the 80s, right? When they had these really hot movies that made like $100 million back then, which is a ton of money, but they only spent $12 million to make it. But the next sequel, they still only spent maybe $18 million on the sequel instead of $100 million like they made before, because they were smart about, cross promote or sequel, being smart about sequels and not overdoing it.
Well, and that's the thing, is like you don't get over your skis, and that's the problem with these studios. They're over their. I mean, with this Firewalk specifically, they got over their skis, and
they ain't even got skis.
Sure, but it's like don't go beyond what don't actually assume you're going to have the next GTA 5, which is why I'm really worried about GTA 6. But let's finish this off, because this was a brilliant super chat and a glorious one at that. As a result, successes and failures are amplified to a much greater degree every single time. Straight up accurate. And games we're getting now are the ones that were greenlit in 16, 17, and 18. Exactly. It's just like films. I mean, how long does it take to develop a good game? 5, 6 years? If you do it in 3, good on you.
I was going to say,
4,
it shouldn't take that
done.
long.
And that's when the TDS was kicking in during that time too, right?
Do you remember? Does anybody remember the first game that did that was Duke Nukem? How many years in development was Duke Nukem in development? And then it was like, boom! Hey, we finally came out with our game, and nobody touched it. Nobody wanted it. Nobody played it.
The trend is wrong. That's what you're saying, right? Loki, is the trend to overdevelop something, overthink it, overcook it. That's the wrong direction. You need to get your game in a polished state quickly and then build it for the future. Because if you can expand on your game over time, it's the only reason to have a live service game.
Yes.
I'm sorry, not for the monetization schemes that you come up with, because believe me, players are real sick and tired of that. And if you build that into a game now, with the economy being so poop, people are not going to, buy your overpriced skins or your XP accelerator or any of that. And if you make a title a pay to play, after you've sold them the game in the first place, you are going to lose people. But this is
go ahead. Sorry, Culture. I can confirm that as an Xbox player, they did this with Halo. They went the complete wrong direction. Yep. They didn't know they got away from the audience, what made the storyline great.
Right.
And again, there's great things in Halo. In Halo Infinite, man, the first time I had my sniper and I'm like in the tall grass and the Covenant's walking by me and they're like, I was like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for. But the longer you get into it, the more you realize, they did this, and this, and they
my baby boy.
Now, 20 minutes ago, I asked a question, and I'm Jonas, let's get this super chat. Let's clear the board here real quick. I asked this question on purpose, right? Whether or not we had an effect on the game industry. I think we may, and I'm about to agree with John on something, that I think we have enough of an effect that studios are freaking out. I mentioned before that, in their risk statements, they're part of their 10K statements to the SEC. You have 4 gaming companies now putting in there that it's the fans that are their greatest risk. They call it review bombing. I call it accountability, because it's not like we're not playing the game. It's not like we're not seeing what you're doing. It's not like we aren't, being led into expectations. And again, I'm going to bring this story up. I've been wanting to for, 20 minutes, but the conversation here is sparkling. You guys are adding to it. Thank you, chat. You guys are killing it today.
Poor Culture.
What? Why?
Keep going, man. Keep going.
All right. Well, after Concord gets shut down, gamers take aim at anti-capitalist Fair Games. Wow. Well, there you go. This is a screenshot of Haven Studios, Fair Games. And reportedly, this is a very similar kind of thing. Haven Studios is another subsidiary of PlayStation. You're not doing good. Announced the game in a CGI trailer in May of 2023. And as you can see below, the trailer features a voiceover that states, "Too much money and too much power is held by just a few people, and it's only getting worse. So we decided to do something about it." It then features a team robbing tractor trailers, warehouses, penthouses, and more.
Yes,
Yeah.
comrades, we must do this.
This is reminiscent of the Summer of Love that we had not that long ago, and I don't know why you would use that as an inspiration for a game. But
Can I say something real quick, Culture, about how we got here? Really quick, guys. The reason why we are here in this situation that you see this, oh, look, another PlayStation studio. Oh, look, another Xbox studio, is because Microsoft started buying up all of these indie startups. All of them. They were like, we want you for Xbox Game Pass and you for Xbox Game Pass. And PlayStation scrambled to fight back and do exactly the same. They fought in court over Call of Duty. This has been going on for a while now. And
Since
almost all these studios that they went and bought and tried to grab up as quick as they can know that they can get away with a level of whatever for the moment because it was a war and a battle. As soon as this is over, you're going to see a huge change of pace because we got here because of these studios buying up everything in sight to defend each other from the other one. It's almost exactly the same as the streaming wars that you see between Netflix, Disney, all of that. It's the exact same kind of fight. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, dude, your point. You're on point as always. But look, the official description attached to the trailer shared is "Welcome to Fair Games, your chance to rob the rich and rebalance the scales." Fair Games is a competitive modern heist game where you team up to break into exotic locations and steal cargo. The twist: you not only need to outsmart guards and security systems, you also compete against other teams. Yeah, they're kind of trying to make the real world happen in this game, is what my assessment is. But crews that extract the most loot and flair, oh wow, so you have to look good doing it, might just rise to the top of Fair Games. Take it till you make it. Who will you recruit first for your crew? So you can go and watch this trailer. It's fairly ridiculous. It gives you the opportunity to break the rules as a modern day Robin Hood. We saw how well that went when the Director X remade that into a show, which was hot garbage from Canada.
That's. I feel like you're taking this in just like a crazy direction because really, because this is really just a Robin Hood story here. I'm not seeing. Because they use the word anti-capitalist, sure, they probably got leanings, but going, oh, this is the same thing as modernizing Robin Hood. It's not that. Like, this is, I feel like trying to be outraged about this game is reaching a little too hard. I genuinely do. Well, it's going to be stupid and it's going to fail, but oh man, why? Like, to be honest, if we're going to step out here, there are too many people who have too much money and we don't have, like, the people, it's a class thing. It's elites versus normal people. I don't see, that's a narrative we all believe in. I don't know why it has to be ridiculous just because somebody else said it.
Can we get away? Can we get away with playing?
You can take a game like this. On its surface level, a heist game is not a bad idea. If you take out the idea that there might be some eye rolls in there because of why they're doing it, it sounds like it's a good concept. But trying to make them into moral people, that's where that obviously presents a problem depending on how they do it, right? So I don't know. We play games where we kill people all the time. We play. You guys were just bragging about playing GTA, which glorifies way worse stuff than just stealing stuff, right? Like, I feel like we're reaching too hard to be angry about this. I don't know. Looking at that screen cap from the game, that's something to criticize. Is like, it looks bad. It looks like it's going to be generic. We can probably tell what a lot of the writing is going to be like. But to go, oh, this is so bad because it's a Robin Hood story or because it says something we all normally agree with. It's just, to me, there's much more prescient things we can actually complain about. This is just sort of losing sight of what we're talking about. I mean, if we're talking about stealing from corporations, I mean, I have a problem there. I mean, if it was politicians, maybe I would be more in agreement. But exactly. And politicians.
Again, if this is a straight up heist game, I will adjust my opinion. But based on their own statements and their marketing, if you watch the trailer, I don't know that maybe we'll give it more legs to run. But the gaming community at large is like crushing this.
And are we ever going to get
less because of the narrative and more that that's like a thing we need to keep in mind, is that with the failure of things like Concord, yes, there is a rejection of the DEI designs and everything, but also like you guys were talking about, people are just sick of these games. Nobody wants another multiplayer team shooter. Everybody probably listening who plays video.
Too much money and too much power is held by just a few people.
The audio is playing on Culture's second screen here. You got to mute that, Culture.
Like here's the thing, is that right now, everybody who plays video games probably has at least 1 or 2 multiplayer games they're already playing, right? Whether that be
Fortnite
agree with
Spencer.
and Call of Duty. Like, nobody is going to hop onto another multiplayer game that has no endpoint. That's why you brought it up earlier. Why do single player games pop out so much? Well, because they can end. Nobody wants to have 4 jobs, especially, you know, people play Final Fantasy 14 and people play Fortnite. Nobody wants to go invest in a new ecosystem in something they don't know is going to survive more than a month.
But I would challenge that to say then there's no point in making games anymore till one dies off. So you have to always be willing to take risk, right?
Well, it's
if
about
you're not
innovating,
willing to step
right?
out and take a risk, then I would just challenge that to say, I mean, I haven't seen this trailer. Maybe we could watch it as a group if we're allowed to, if we have time, Culture, just to, and judge it at the end. But until I've seen it,
I wouldn't. I'm not gonna. I'm not going to take the risk. It's PlayStation. They're iffy on whether or not they want to hit you in the face. So
I do agree, though, Spencer, that we have to be careful not to weaponize ourselves as the left kind of does, and these people do.
That's why I'm gonna have to push back on like John's headline there. Like, oh, after rejecting Concord, gamers take aim at failsafe. Like, that's not something we shouldn't be taking aim at things. We should be criticizing things as they come and going and rejecting them.
Exactly, which is what happened with Concord, right? So pushing back on, not you, but on the narrative around this particular game, I think look, you should be hesitant with what you buy. You should find yourself in a place where you're questioning, you know, the things that are being put in these games. Spencer, if this game is, you know, incredibly divisive narratively, I imagine you'll change your take on it.
I'm not saying it's not going to be divisive narratively, but what I'm saying is we know little about this game, and the points of criticism you guys are talking about are things that are reaching. Again, this is a Robin Hood heist game. We all agree that there are elites versus like normal people in society. There are, you know, there's another part of this conversation that is people are just sick of new multiplayer games. There's a lot of stuff here to take into the conversation and not just go, look, the DEI you see there, that's exactly what's happening. This is going to be like when they made Robin Hood into a young black woman who raps. Like, it's a little too reactionary.
Are we ever going to get back to the point where we like get a game and just play it? I mean, where you walking in a store and you're like, oh, look at that. That looks cool. And you just take it home and you play it. Can we ever get back to that without it being something?
Maybe,
I'm going to say, having watched the trailer, I'm going to say that I agree with John's take. So we haven't all watched the trailer here. I think that this is a game that, well, obviously you started playing it just a second ago.
Oh no,
It very much starts right at the start with the stealing from the rich. The billionaires have too much money, and you know, maybe I'm Uncle Scrooge over here, but I don't care if a billionaire has money. I care if I have money, and I got a little bit of money, you know, enough to take care of my family. Oh. So looking at this, I think based off of what they're trying to sell in the trailer, I think they're trying to appeal to a woke crowd here. So I don't think he's off on his take here.
I'm not saying he's off on his take. I was pushing back against his headline. It was his headline that I don't like because that's too aggressive. That's saying we're a mob coming for you. That's
headlines are meant to catch your attention.
Well, we can save editorial notes for John for another time. But I think
talked about it.
right. I think that I don't think he's too far off on the general idea here. I didn't read the headline closely enough that I want to have a debate about it on a live stream.
What I want to do is let you finish your point and get to
go ahead. I'm going to shut up now.
We have brilliance in the chat, right? So from Jacob Foxfires, who's just climbing the ladder again. So remember when I said Sony PS might not be around in a decade from my prediction? Concord really puts them in a pickle, I say. Well, based on what we just saw, if this game is another divisive disaster, it's not going to help. Sony's in a bad place. Loki's reading a game now.
No, I bring up the whole, man, you know, you just go in the store, and now I'm thinking like, I've got all this here. So I've got stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks over there. I'm like, I got my own video store. I got my own Blockbuster. So I want to I just want that. I do. I want that. I want to go into a store and be like, oh, look at that. That's cool. Remember when you used to be able to find PC games everywhere? Everywhere. You go in the grocery store and you find CD keys for Doom and all kinds of stuff where you'd have the jewel cases. You can't shop anymore. You either have to go to GameStop or some nickel dimer that's going to overcharge you for everything, or to a convention or eBay. Those are your choices. There's no just, hey, I want to go and pick up a game and play it. I want to go to Blockbuster and get a game. And you just look through and you go, oh, I'll give this one a shot. It's got a pretty cool cover. It might be crap, but at least you played it and took a chance.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? GameStop was useful for picking up used games, so you weren't paying the full price on something. You were like, that might be interesting, but I ain't paying $40 for it, you know? So, and that's the other thing. People are using their money, you know, more effectively, more carefully now than ever. But thank you, Jacob. You are rocking it today. Pinochet's helicopter tours for another $5 and quarters. Objectively, the professional managerial class ruined most of these corporations. There's nothing wrong with correcting them, and that's how gaming heals. Well, I think these corporations are correcting themselves right now. We're seeing layoffs across the board. You're seeing jobs disappear. I did kind of an economic message this morning on my 6-Minute Daily on my channel. You're going to start seeing more and more of this weak job availability market, because you're going to start seeing layoffs at a rate that, you know, unemployment is going to jump again.
If I could speak quickly in this when you're done.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, go. We have a lot of supers, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be really fast. I think that the corporate non-gaming culture seeped into this over the late 90s, early 2000s, and you started getting CEOs elected to gaming companies like EA that had no idea what gaming was. They only knew how to take a product and milk it for every little penny they could get. And that's kind of why we're heading this direction that we are now. So you don't have gamers or people that love to be creative doing it. You got people from Pepsi or this, you know, from other companies that have, or banking, that jumped into these spaces or were hired or elected as CEOs, and they really destroyed a lot of these companies. Just to confirm that, I think.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And on that note, thank you. We got another super chat from Pinochet again for another $2. Thank you, Pinochet. Says best interest and self-interest are two different things. Very true. And right now they're not doing what's in the best interest of investors and gamers. And it's what's killing these gaming companies. Well said. Torgo the White for $2 worth of quarters. Guys, seriously, we may have to rent the whole arcade for like a couple days. This is great stuff. After years stunk. Ooh, strong take.
Fair enough.
Give me Final Fantasy VI 2.5D like Octopath.
Ooh, I would love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great minds think alike. Listen to
That's the
Jonas.
only way they should be remaking like old RPGs like that. I will stand by that.
I agree.
Wow, look, we're agreeing on something. It's great. Most of the time we agree.
I'm sorry that I yelled at you.
It's okay to disagree, guys. Who
yelled at who? I didn't think anybody yelled at anybody.
No, I think I love all.
Did I get in trouble and not know it?
No, you're fine. You speak your mind.
Jonas was using his dad voice.
That's right. Jonas went. It's just. It always sounds like Jonas is using his dad voice. So it's anyway. Jacob Foxfire for another $5 in quarters. Thank you, my friend. Nintendo gets it. Yes, they do. Why do you think we praise and hype Nintendo so much? They are working on all kinds of games, and for the lifetime of the Switch, it's entirely successful, but they are the only ones. Yes, they are. Oh, and by the way, for Switch 2 kids, it's basically confirmed that your Switch games will play on your Switch 2, but your Switch 2 games won't play on your Switch.
Actually, there's a really great chart, and I mean, we don't want to take forever on super chats, but it was a chart of all of the different studios that Nintendo has and how each one of them is dedicated to something very specific. So like the weird ones like Ring Fit and Everybody 1-2 Switch and Labo, they've got their own studio that does all of this. But you look at all of the different studios that they have working on so many different things. They don't live and die on one release. They count on getting one big release every few years or so, but they're not insane putting all of their eggs in one basket over and over again.
The only pushback I ever make on Nintendo is they tend to rehash a lot of genres a little too often. Like the Marios seem to blend together after a while.
They do. I couldn't tell you the difference between most of the new Super Marios until you get to Wonder, which...
Yeah, that was a little different, but I think the one with the hats, 4 years ago, what was that one called? Sorry, apologize.
Odyssey?
That was Odyssey, thank you. That was pretty good, but it stepped a little more out of the genre like that they'd done before, but then they haven't really followed that kind of style up. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, we got another super... You guys are blowing us away today. But yeah, no, and Jacob Foxfire, thank you for that. We've got this one. Holy cow, Machini Draws coming in hot with $10 in quarters. He's going to play NBA Jam for the rest of the day. Says it's a serious problem when regular people could do proper designs in 8 minutes compared to what took 8 years. And you would be one of those people, Machini. You can check out all of Machini's amazing art in real time as he draws it over on Machini Draws.
I was going to say, he's pitching himself for a job, and I say, hire this man.
Hire this man.
Exactly. Yep.
Get this man. Anyway, so Firewalk Studios earned $100K a salary. A year salary? Really?
Are we talking each individual?
For the designer?
What's the details on that, Machini?
For the character designers?
I'm going to say whoever's in charge of that studio is making more than $100K a year.
We know.
I would say I would say a higher to mid-level tech.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, If that's a QA person, that's a salary. Thank you for that, Machini. I appreciate that very much. I have to change the chart again. TLJ Screwjob, great to see you, my friend, for $5 more in quarters. Saying to jump off of Base Player's super chat, Jack and Daxter came out in 2001. Jack 2 2003. Jack 3 2004.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, they and in Jack 2 and 3 they reused a lot, but nobody cares. But
why is there not an Jack collection at this point, by the way?
That is a good question. Why isn't there a Jack? And look, that's successive
There is.
releases.
What are you guys talking about? It was for PS3, but it definitely exists.
Really?
Okay. I need to go pick that up.
I've got it.
There you go. Well, they added, Spargus, desert maps also, but it's like you can use the same assets in every game. If you make it to be aesthetically consistent, you just increase the ability of the rendering, right? The ability to
a scalable engine.
Scalable engine, yeah.
They can't always do that. Square Enix just came out with a thing about the third Final Fantasy game where they're talking about porting it over to an entirely new engine, which means they will have to make almost all new assets.
All right, it's $20. I'm buying it.
Jason,
nice. Sold.
Jonas,
that's what I'm talking about.
Shopping. Jonas is shopping on the stream right now, folks. He's like, wait, this looks great. I'm gonna get.
They haven't decided yet.
Do you think his camera's off?
Culture.
He's either shopping or he's playing.
You got to translate it, but it's
fine.
I play more games than Fortnite. We just track Fortnite because of the fact
Fortnite, Zero Build Fortnite, Lego Fortnite.
That's right. Fortnite Festival with Carol G, whoever that is.
We cover Fortnite.
Yeah, no, seriously, I feel so old, Jonas. I have no idea who that is, but she's been in the store for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't care. I know she's in some emotes, but sorry, I'm saltier today than usual.
Unapologetically, we cover Fortnite. I'll just say it that way because I will play Fortnite too. I'm just not good. Okay,
and you're putting me under pressure to play this game now.
Well, it'll work. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Machini draws for 20. Holy cow! Machini, another big swing. Says Fair Games is Jade Raymond's project. Jade Raymond is the co-creator of Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs, and the female with the face paint looks ugly. Really, still from the rich, while your game is funded by Corpus. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So I just need to point this out.
Irony.
Haven Games has not yet made anything yet. Jade Raymond, however, Ubisoft Toronto and Motive Studios, she had involvement there. She would work with some Stadia studios for a little while until that was pitched to Sony. So far, her off on her own. She hasn't produced anything that's come out yet. And she did work on Concord. They're a technical support studio. Haven is a technical support studio for Concord as well.
Wait, we're allowed to laugh every time we say Concord for now. We have permission? Like an evil
Concord 19.
Exactly.
I guess they have that. They're off the hook on that one, though. Culture, are you frozen, or are you just waiting for me to shut up?
His brain's processing what you just said.
I'm trying to link her to some stuff. So, but yeah, she is the leader of that studio. We'll have to see how this looks, but I think she's part of the reason why the Assassin's Creed's game started to go downhill. Let me just say it that way.
Just in defense of Canada, by the way, not everybody that comes out of Canada has this problem.
Oh, no.
Right?
We like
I just want to make that clear. So.
We like some Canadians. We're one of them, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good day.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
All right. Well, moving on.
Sorry.
Why are you... Okay, when Loki says it sounds like he's calling a pig, and when you say it, it sounds like sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's
Sorry,
what I just said.
culture.
Yeah, no, Loki just sounded like sweet.
I can't wait to read this Abdulio super chat, because this is when I started to realize I needed to shut up, but he's saying what I was going to say anyways.
Abdulio for $5 more and quarters. You know what? I'm going to have to get permission to stay at the arcade more than one day. GTA, Payday, and Crime Boss doesn't pretend you're the good guy. Boom shakalaka. They lean heavily into you are not the good guy. I agree. Also, Robin Hood was about stealing back what the government stole, not from the rich. Fair point. Look, it's all about social justice, and social justice games are baloney sausage. That's what Marxism's all about, right? Is trying to give everybody this unattainable level utopia where everybody has the same outcome. You cannot do it. It's widely rejected by anybody who's a student of history. People who buy into this narrative, I think, really aren't educated in any way and are likely to have a very flawed and difficult lives. But just my opinion. Gentlemen, anybody want to respond to this other than me?
Yeah, the with what's that GTA clone that bombed? Absolutely,
Saints Row.
Thank you, Saints Row. Who wants to play a group of Zoomers that act like that? I don't. It's not, obviously you didn't make this game for me, so I didn't buy it.
It's not made for you. It's not made for you.
Exactly. And now they're finding out, guess what? If it's not made for us, if you made the game for a bunch of Zoomers that aren't going to pay for your product when nobody buys it, I'm sorry. That's on you. It's not on us. We're getting blamed for it. I tell you what, they have given us so much power with the gaming magazine companies, the journalists. They have given us all the power because they basically said, it's all your fault, Concord, Dustborn, and these games failed. Thank you very much for finally admitting that we're the ones paying your salary and we're the ones keeping you in business, because that is the truth. Gamers, a lot of gamers are gamers for life. Yeah. And I'm sorry when you're like, we're not going to cater to your manly 40-year-old needs. We're going to make a Zoomer game. We're not going to buy it. And we're the main audience. So
my question is, where are the Zoomers' money going though? Like if it's not
it's going into, nice cafe lattes and some weird restaurant that serves like I don't know, but I mean it's just like strange restaurants and like odd outfits to wear for their Instagram photos. That's where it's going. I'm just kidding.
Sounds like the 60s all over again.
It is. And if you're a Zoomer, I'm not saying you're like that, especially since you're a gamer.
I am.
You are not. I know you. All right. Thank you for that, Abduleo. We appreciate it. We also appreciate...
I can say it because I'm like the closest thing to a Zoomer here.
Yeah. We also appreciate Machini, my buddy over there, for another $10 and quarters. Says, I took the bullet for Dustborn and I can't refund it. It's permanently in my Steam library with 5 hours of playtime.
You can delete it, Machini. You can go to your Steam.
It'll never wash out of his mind, though.
You can delete it from your library. You can do that. It is possible to delete a game you paid for out of your Steam library. It will warn you, if you do this, you can't get it back, but you can get rid of it. Trust me, I know.
The funniest thing is Machini was one of those like 46 people that were playing it.
I think Machini was just trying to take one for the team, and thank you, Machini, for that. I'm going to have to review your play.
Review his review, so it's like keeping a bubble between you and that
reviewception, so I don't get any of it on me. Yeah,
it's exactly.
Hasta lasagna, don't get any on you.
You definitely deserve a Medal of Honor. Yes, it's so true. Pinochet for another $5 in quarters. Are you Robin Hood taking from elites and Amazon and the professional managerial class, or a mom and pop shop? Again, context, please. Some deserve it. I agree with you. Look, if you're not going after the mom and pop shop, more power to you. But like you said, I mean, there definitely are good targets and there are bad targets, and it's not the guy trying to drive to work on the freeway. Okay.
But the guy trying to drive to work on a freeway isn't a billionaire with government contracts on I think, right?
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Could be.
I do, because he's not driving. He has somebody driving for him. And I know
okay.
that they're not. You're not robbing the guy on the ground floor. You're not robbing the janitor.
Okay, but I'm giving somebody a job.
Yeah, billionaires employ a lot of people, just so everyone knows.
I'm telling you right now, the hate directed at Elon is undeserved, but
it's
regardless.
not. I hate that guy.
That right there, that comment is chef kiss. Thank you.
It is. Kalikio Caddy 100%. For $2. For $2.
That's what I'm saying.
First-person looter-shooter game genre is oversaturated. That is the most direct, simple statement that is 100%
sums it up,
on point. Indeed. Summing it all up. Speaking of summing it all up, holy cow, base player 2011 Iffy, leader in the clubhouse with another $20 in quarters.
Wait, I just hope base player didn't rob anybody and then give that money to us, right?
Look,
I don't know if that happened.
I feel like this is payday day or something, but we've got it. The anti-capitalist message doesn't matter. Looters, shooters are still very niche. Boom. The only ones that have seen any sort of success is Hunt Showdown and Tarkov, and it took them 5 or 6 years to get where they are now. Yeah.
Isn't Tarkov kind of died off now, though, or am I incorrect with that?
I haven't heard anything about it in a while, but again, it's a niche. So if I'm not in the community, I probably wouldn't know.
I honestly think Destiny 2 could have gotten there. They just made a lot of stupid mistakes.
They followed the same problems that they had in the first game. They just needed to get rid of those. And base player, I think you're right. I think looter shooters are tough anyway. Like Kaliki Okedi said just a second ago in his previous super chat. So you guys are on point, man. You guys are on fire. I love this community. We are rocking it. Glade Ribbon is rocking it with a $5 super chat. We are going to have lots of quarters. Physical media died for PC for me on 11/11/11 when I bought Skyrim, and it came with a Steam key. The physical disc it came with.
Yeah, seriously, that should be illegal.
It's right over there in one of those drawers. The PC version of Skyrim, that disc is blank. There is nothing to install on your computer. It just tells you. It tells it to go to Steam.
I'm not going to lie. I must have bought like 6 different versions after that too. So, I mean, I've kept that game going for 20 years just by buying it all the time, or 15, sorry.
There's an entire studio that's been funded by repurchases of Skyrim.
Yep.
No, I think about that. I mean, I think I own it 4 times over. I bought the VR version. You know, I'm a nut bar. You know, so yeah.
How was that? Was that okay?
Very cool, actually. So I own 2 VR versions. I own one on the PS4. I need help, and I have one for the Vive on my Steam, which I can actually play on the other VR headsets I have. But anyway, regardless, it's a lot of fun. You
immediately have to learn Lightning just so you can go unlimited power.
Yeah. It is kind of fun. That is kind of fun. But no, actually, the other thing is, I can only go about 4 hours now on a VR headset before I am just raging migraine. But
I had a conversation with somebody who has worked on a lot of VR games, and he said you'd be surprised how easy it is to just make someone throw up.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Disoriented them because a lot of them, they don't have your natural vision, right? Your view, you can't really capture that properly even on a VR headset, so it can make you disoriented and sick quite fast.
You can actually get there, Space Dave, but you have to do a lot of adjustment to adjust for parallax and stuff like that with it. So you have to adjust not just focus, but the lens distance that keeps you from the spider web that shows up on all of those screens. I think we'll get there eventually, but we're not there yet. Anyway, Jonas, you see the thing I sent?
In which format? Hold on.
Behind here. Behind here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
No problem.
Right.
I can do that. First of all, I want to make sure that we're still moving right along. Baculi draws for 10. IGN Concord 7 out of 10 only has 130 players playing right now. IGN The First Descendant 5 out of 10 only has 36,000 players playing right now. First Descendant has objectively superior designs. Yeah, you're not going to find much fight from me on that one. Have you played First Descendant, Loki?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I've been having a fun time with it. It's not like anything super groundbreaking, but it's a lot better than Concord or Dustborn.
Is that a PS5 title, might I ask? Because I don't remember hearing about this.
I know it's at least on Steam.
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Yeah,
I've got it on Steam. I don't know if it's on PS5 or not. If I can get it on Steam, that's where I'm buying it before I'll buy it on PS5. If it's something PS5 exclusive and I really want it, I'll do that. But I'm not. That's the only way. If I can get it on PC, it's getting on PC.
Yep. And Samuel Main for $3 sent in a super sticker. It's that pair giving a thumbs up. I like it very much. Thank you. Baculi draws for 5. Last Sunday's Dustborn episode is one of my highest viewed and liked streams, and my chat super chatted $30 for me to buy the game and play it. Yeah, that's a fascinating thing here. I was really surprised when we played Outlaws. I wasn't expecting anything on that test stream, but enough people super chatted to at least give the money back for getting a month of Ubisoft Plus.
Jonas, I enjoyed the 8 frames a second at 240p. It was great watching.
It was shameful. It was shameful. Thank you for your kind support. Jay for $5. Make a category in your Steam library named Shame. Shove the hated games in there and minimize it.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Is it your shame or is it the developer's shame?
Not only that, put it on one of those old 5400 RPM hard drives from the the 2000s, the early 2000s. Might be at its end of life, so to speak.
Yep. Baculi draws for 10. I would correct base player's comment. Hunt's Showdown and Escape from Tarkov are more extraction shooters. The First Descendant is a looter shooter, and I want that game to last as long as Destiny. It sounds like you got a favorite here.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, I actually, yeah. Look, there's a lot of different kinds of looter shooters. What do you call the? I mean, I know it's a PvP game, but what is technically Fortnite?
MOBA?
Yeah, MOBA.
Okay.
Massive online
battle royale.
Yeah, I guess battle royale is the genre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were pushing to have like Call of Duty have battle royales, right, for a long time. So
yeah, I remember that. There was a project to it. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, it's Warzone.
Did people enjoy that?
There was a game.
It was great for a while.
What was it? The game Massive Action Game. It was so amazing. They were going to have 64 players in a match. That was way back in 2010. Oh man, were we ever that young? Abdelio for 5. Destiny, Warframe are looter shooters. Hunt and Tarkov are extraction shooters. Different genres, even smaller niche, but growing.
See, and I would argue that people kind of enjoy the games they enjoy. I'm a first-person shooter guy. I really like them.
Yeah,
I like third-person shooters. I'm weird. I like.
You're not weird.
I like strategy games because I'll play Civilization for a week straight with only doing videos in between, so I can keep my channel going. So, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's I think there's a genre for everybody, but the size of the genre is really gonna determine its success, at least financially. So some of these studios spend money in the wrong genre because the audience isn't that big.
I would say some of it is about accessibility too. Like, can anyone just pick it up and play it? And you'll get probably a broader audience from that. Like Fortnite is a little more kid friendly too, so it's easier to jump in. So
yeah,
but,
and whatever your first game is, they're going to put you with bots, and they will basically force you to get a battle royale or a victory royale in the first one.
Oh, so there's hope for me. All right,
it's true. I was dead wrong, by the way. One of the modes was 64, but you could get up to 256 players on Mag.
Oh, wow.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember when you had to like invite everybody over and carry your 600-pound television and have a switch. Instead of a router, you have to have a proper switch, and everybody had to plug their Xbox in so you could play Halo together.
That's right.
I'm old enough to remember if you only had 2 Xboxes, you could get a twisted Ethernet cable to play. You didn't need a switch then.
Yeah, patch cable. Yeah, you could put a patch cable in. Yep.
That's great. Martin Stone for $10. Martin writes for That Park Place on occasion. He's also a member of the Lost Guys. In defense of Spence, Milton Friedman, you're evoking the name of Milton Friedman, Martin. How dare you, sir? Said that a society needs some economic equality, but as Thomas Sowell points out, a safe society and property rights protect the little guy from the big guy. Right on both counts. Yep. I like Phil Friedman.
I don't want to get all apolitical here, but I don't believe the United States or Canada has true property rights, though, because if you don't pay your taxes, whether you own that or not, you'll have a nice knock on your door. So.
How about that the argument for property taxes has holes in it and there shouldn't be any? Because once
I agree with that, but the government introduced it to take away, I think, your property rights.
Right,
so,
indeed. Yeah, and I think that if you are using property taxes or land taxes to fund your school system, you are going to have a very hollow school system of very little value. Anyway,
second that.
Broader conversations, not for a gaming channel. Yeah. On that note, we have made it through the super chats. You guys are incredible. I don't think I've ever seen so much of a rainbow in colors of super chats that I actually appreciate. You guys, you are the new No, I can't say that.
No, please don't.
Yeah.
Team Rainbow.
You know who's going to knock on our door? Incredible. Sweet Baby Ink's going to try to introduce themselves.
We have more stories. We are an hour and 55 minutes into the stream. We got through a handful of stories, and I want to wrap it up. I think we'll do. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some more. Guys, how long do you want to go?
I think I'm probably going to have to go after. If you do one more story, I will stick around for it.
Yeah,
but I don't want to speak for everybody else.
All right.
I'm good with that.
All right. Well, then I'm going to do this. This is the story I don't know anything about. I think
while you think about it, do you want me to just go through this one by one and geek out over all the Nintendo franchises?
Do that.
Please.
Culture. Go ahead. What do you want to do, man?
No, do that. It sounds good. You're the boss. You're not really, but go.
I'm not the boss.
I'm the boss.
You know what? Actually, what game I'm thinking about streaming here? By the way, Astrobot. I'm thinking about this one. This is a game that celebrates. This is the kind of game that I didn't know that PlayStation had in them. Or I should say, Astro's Playroom was the kind of game that I didn't think they had in them. It is a really well-designed celebration of all of the IPs that they control. And it's not like, Toon Squad, Space Jam 2, A New Legacy, where they're just throwing everything at the wall and for some reason putting Game of Thrones in a kid's movie or anything like that. These are a lot of fun. I'm thinking about playing this, if not here, maybe on the Jonas J. Campbell YouTube channel.
That looks kind of fun, but $60, dude. All right. I mean,
it's already been paid. I'll get my money back in Memories with the Kids because they love that one too.
Well, but isn't it? Didn't it come free with the machine? I mean, it's
no, this is the one that's about to come out.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I'm like, I remember getting this free. But anyway,
I'm hoping. I've definitely gotten $60 worth out of Astro's Playroom because I've got a kid that continuously asks to play that game. But
real quick, before we get into the story, I want to show this is amazing, guys. The leaderboard today changed hands a lot. Bass player Iffy is platinum for the month. He's the gold supporter of the day. Machini's number 2, and Jacob Foxfire is in third place. And I'm going to have to adjust this again because more people keep giving the super chat so we can stay in the arcade longer.
I hate to say it, Culture, but you're going to have to get one of those cool videos like Pro plays all the time.
I know, but I don't have.
And if you could throw in the song "Thank You for Being My Friend" in there, I'd really appreciate it.
Thank you for being a friend.
Disney owns the right to that one.
Right.
Do they? Oh, never mind.
All right, real quick. This is something coming out of a story coming out of Bounding that I found interesting because I hadn't seen it anywhere else, and I don't know just how related it is to anything. Somebody in the back, can you see that? Is this this game is Bandai Namco ends Blue Protocol service in January 2025, cancels Western release amidst censorship claims. It will not be possible to provide a service that satisfies all of you. This is an anime-based game, right? This is a massive MMORPG. And this was supposed to be here, like in the States.
What does that mean?
That means they're too cowardly to release it. Bandai Namco's been getting hit left and right from like Sweet Baby Inc. and these other companies and being pushed to do some very DEI things. And sometimes it's better just cancel it, not even mess with it, than to go jump through all the hurdles they're going to have to come out with something.
Yeah, I mean, this is just strange, right? This was supposed to be, I'd heard mention of this, didn't really know what it was, but this is an anime live service MMORPG. It's, and Bandai Namco stated this: "We regret to inform you that the Japanese version of Blue Protocol will be discontinued on Saturday, January 18th, 2025. As a result, we've also canceled our plans to release a Western version of the game in collaboration with Amazon Games," because Amazon is run by a bunch of tools like Jennifer Salke and others. Anyway, sorry. We have enjoyed a strong relationship with Amazon Games throughout the development of Blue Protocol, and both our teams are disappointed that we will not be able to deliver the game to players around the world. Had you heard about this? Well, I guarantee Spencer has, but Jonas, had you heard about this or no? Cool beans.
Sorry, I just realized I'm muted. No, I don't generally follow JRPGs, which is why we love to have Spencer on the channel.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I don't think Spencer is on the channel right now. He's away from his keyboard. So, have you heard about this, Stone Cold Loki?
I've been following the problems going on with Bandai Namco for a while. As you know, I'm a huge Super Robot Wars fan.
Right.
Yes, the review I promised is coming. I'm just like 250 hours into the game. There is nonsense in this in the game I'm playing now. There's nonsense that was forced into it. There was nonsense that was pushed. These are from the characters that Bandai Namco created for this game. None of this appears in the other game, and literally, they would not release the game before this because they did not want to remove or change assets that were already in the game that would have been questionable for Western audiences. This has been a problem with Bandai Namco. It's going to keep being a problem by Bandai Namco until someone pulls off the reins of this whole thing and says, guys, just make the game you want to make. We're going to get less and less Japanese imports. We're going to have to bring them in ourselves to play them if we want them. And on stuff like Steam, that's almost impossible because unless you know a trickier way to do it than I used to know how to do it, you can't even log in on a VPN or whatever and get games from other regions anymore. So getting this game here is like virtually impossible unless you get it on PS4 or PS5 or whatever. On a console it is, but on PC it's almost impossible because of the hoops Bandai Namco are being told they have to go through to get it released here. I do know that problem. So
okay,
so
you wanted to leave. I'm back.
Oh, go ahead.
Welcome back.
I don't know. Somebody needed something.
Yes, we needed you to weigh in on Blue Protocol and what's going on here.
Yeah, so this is a complete disaster for Amazon. This was a really big MMORPG. They were working. I forget who the actual developer is. Yeah, it was a Bamco MMO. Yep. It is already released in Japan currently. Yep. The game has been out. It is not coming to American shores. They said, hey, we said it was coming, but for some reason they haven't explained why. They decided not to. This is a game we saw getting a lot of DEI related changes, a lot of censorship, a lot of body type A, B, that kind of stuff. So it's all a rigmarole. Like it's all there.
I think people are realizing and recognizing that these consultancy groups are the ones primarily responsible for the destruction of things like this. And a lot of people in the chat have indicated they wanted to play this. This is the stuff that drives me crazy because, I mean,
it's funny how money, like Amazon throwing this money at somebody, really lets you sell out, so to speak. And
yeah, I mean, we don't get good things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, this was aimed for a spring release of 2023. And then they moved it to June 14th in Japan and May 2023 in the West, then delayed to 2024. The game then subsequently launched on PS5 and Xbox Series XS on December 13th in Japan. And now they're shutting it down?
Yeah, so if you can't keep your Japanese
all
audience,
done,
it can't be that good.
You know what this looks like, guys? This looks like, hey, you know what? The West are not mature enough to handle this content in this game. So we're not gonna spend the next year dumbing it down and taking things out just for the Americans to have this on their server while we continue to have all of this on our server. We're just not gonna release it. And that's a loss for you. All because of these companies like SBI, all these companies that are doing this, all this DEI woke garbage. All it is a loss for you that the Western audience is not mature enough to handle this type of game. I thought we moved past this in the Xbox 360 era and the PS3 era where we were just getting everything. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at us. Give us Extreme Beach Volleyball. Give us Lollipop Chainsaw. Give us whatever it was. We were getting anything and everything. Now, you're not adult enough to handle this kind of content. So if you really want us to dumb it down, we just won't release it in the US. I do not blame them.
Money that they would have made in the United States is enough that they realized because it's a huge market if they can get the US to buy into a game like this, and maybe the non-weebs would also need to buy into it too, but if they can get this to hit in the United States, they've won.
If it's good, everybody will get invested in it.
Well, everybody thinks everybody wants to play their game. Nobody goes in and says this is it, right?
Well, okay, but Jonas, I'll give you an example. Like nobody really knew what World of Warcraft was or what was going to be.
Everybody knew what World of Warcraft was. Most gamers knew what Warcraft was, but when they said World of Warcraft, they already had this foot in the door, and obviously they had to fight to get it there. If that did not hit at the time that it hit, it would not have happened. So I will say that we got to ask Grums a lot of questions about that as well. But when you look at this, I wonder if they said, well, the amount of money that it would take to market this in the way that they think it needs to be marketed in the United States, we're not going to get there. And then we're just going to shut this whole thing down in Japan because they didn't think that they have the player base in Japan to support it through the long term while trying to market in the United States.
Well, regardless, it's all because of the importance of the DEI initiatives. And I'm sorry, that's what killed the game.
Yep. And you're talking to a supporter of Bandai Namco. And I think they're being idiots because they're what they're doing. I think they're being idiots by what they're doing.
I agree.
But this statement right here, I think, sells it all. Okay, I realize that that's what diversity means. Okuma Mirai added, not being represented not only means that the demand for self-expression cannot be met. There you go. But it also means that we may not be able to imagine the identities of the many players, because somebody could decide to identify as a Brontosaurus. How can we represent a Brontosaurus in this game? It's just, again, it's this stupid political garbage that kills everything.
You don't try, though. That's the thing. You don't try and imagine, oh, well, what am I going to feel like if a Brontosaurus is playing my game? No, I'm sorry. You don't think like that. You just, this is what the story we're going to do. This is the idea we have. This is the art we want. Let's go for it. Let's make it. And I want people in tears at the end of this game because of how good it was, how it emotionally affected them. I want a good game. whether that's happy, sad, whatever. I want to reach in and absolutely make them go, I'm never going to forget playing this game because of this. The best games in history always have done that. They've reached in and they've been like, we're going to pull at your heartstrings a little bit and we're going to do this. And you'll always remember us because you'll always remember that great story. If that's not there, because I can't imagine what you would be like as a brontosaurus playing this, they've already lost the battle before they even start making the game.
Well, if you can't stick to your creative motivation, if you can't stick to what you have in your mind that you want to make, and you have to acquiesce and bend the knee to stuff, I think that's where your all hope is lost, right?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
All right.
All right, Culture.
I want to say this. I've had an extraordinary time doing this stream, as always. I want to say again, thank you to everybody with the super chats and the support that you guys have been just so generous with. Again, I'm going to have to take notes on where we are so that we can keep the leaderboard updated and we can start fresh with the gold, silver, and bronze trophies on the next stream, which is next Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. I would like to be able to go longer. We've already gone 9 minutes over, but a considerable number of the panelists are having to leave, and I don't think you want just me out there. Jonas, anything you want to add before we wrap this up?
Not really, but I could go ahead and keep talking anyways. You guys all need to go check out Spencer. Spencer streams at like 10 p.m. Eastern time on Fridays.
1 a.m. Let's see. What is it? No, it's 8 p.m. Eastern time. I try to make it a little early.
All right.
Sorry that's late for Dad Core, but
yeah, Kabuto Rider Map. Go check out his channel. And he doesn't do a good job of promoting that channel.
No, he doesn't.
He live streams every Friday. You guys need to go check.
I got to get back to the swing of things. I'm so out of it.
That's the thing that I want to talk about here today. So.
Fair enough. And I will, in turn, will talk about Jonas's channels that he participates in. So do check him out on That Park Place. Obviously, he is my esteemed colleague here and on my game channel. And of course, you should check him out
Thanks.
I don't know, everywhere else like WDW Pro Live and sometimes at Valiant Renegade and sometimes at Midnight's Edge. Jonas is everywhere except his own channel, Everything Woke About, which I think he says he's going to get back to.
Yes, I'm trying to. Things keep getting in the way.
Loki, what would you like to use your time for?
Oh, to just say that since Spencer said that he's out of the swing of things, I find that hard to believe considering you're wearing a Lego Spider-Man avatar.
I just bought it.
Venom.
That suit's got it. Oh, is it Venom? Is it Carnage?
No, you're right. It's
Carnage.
Iron Spider.
Okay,
Carnage.
it's Iron Spider. That's
right.
what I thought it was Iron Spider. So you got to have more webbing in that Lego suit. So that's all I wanted to say. You guys are absolutely great here at That Game Place. The panel's great. The chat's great. I love getting to come here and talk to you guys. And we've got such a good thing going. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing and ringing that bell and your super chats. And keep rocking on, guys. Keep playing your games and having fun. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. Space Dave, you doing all right?
I identify as a astronaut, so I want all games going forward to have me somehow represented in these genres. If you don't, I'll be offended and cancel your game. That's all I have to say. Actually, I finally figured out my audio issue doing some live stuff, so I'll probably be doing next week, especially probably daily, about an hour of a Roller Coaster Tycoon Deluxe, because I'm having fun with that. So I'm going to do some levels in that and go live on my own channel.
Awesome. Please let us know when you do that so we can tweet it out.
Absolutely.
Culture, we got some more super chats here.
We do. I want to say thank you to those of you for your generosity today. We've got, even more. Which one you want to grab first?
Accident Seller.
Oh, we both clicked on it. Accident Seller for 50 Norwegian kroner. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. It says, I'm a sucker for turn-based JRPG, especially on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System and PS1. They have such charming pixel art, awesome music, and engaging storylines. That's right. Yep. Man, I got to dig out the PS1 now. Holy cow. You guys, did you like these? Did you play these? Do you know what
Xenogears, man? Xenogears is one of my favorite that's in my top 5 of all time.
I feel like we talked about that on the very first TGP stream.
We did. Thank you for that, Accident Soda. We appreciate you. Well done indeed. Mockety draws for 5 more in quarters. Thank you for that. Says, you guys need to do a special Friday stream showing Concord shut down live. Well, yeah.
That's a great idea.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
I first of all, somebody has to own Concord for us to see it actually happen, where it goes, boo, wop, wop. I want to see
we can keep refreshing their page till it's a 404, can't we?
I'll just point out here that all it takes is somebody being on and trying to play for as long as possible. I mean, we need to find out what mode goes on forever and stay in there and keep playing so they can't shut down the servers. I think this is the solution here.
Somebody actually did. What was the game they did that with? Somebody did that. Kept them going for like 22 days. I'll have to look up that story.
Was it the Star Wars?
It's a charming one.
Hyperspace or whatever it was. The old Star Wars one.
I don't know, but somebody literally kept the service up for 22 days.
Ooh. That would take, that it's not a bad idea. If we can keep a marathon going. Of course, at this point, it would just be a mockery of Concord going on and on and on. I don't know. Maybe we ought to try this. Of course, if it's match based, they might just kick you out at the end of the time for the match. So they might have built that into the system already. I'm going to look into this.
All right, fair enough. And finally, the final super chat, I believe, of the day. Gory-Eyed Beast for a Canadian $2 says, congrats on the 25K culture. I missed it live. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for hitting this channel with your support. We appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. Do rewatch it because I spent a lot of time dancing that didn't show up on screen. So I worked it for a long time to get that video out there. But for everybody out there, I do appreciate your support. This channel is something special to all of us, and hopefully to all of you. So let's keep it going for as long as possible. We have news stories coming out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 we didn't get to today. That's on me. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Do check out everybody on this channel. All these wonderful creators, they help it go. And of course, some that couldn't join us today, like Marvin and Nolan, who are also regulars. Space Dave, thank you. Loki, thank you. Spencer, thank you. And Jonas,
yay!
Thank you. On that note, let's wrap it up. I'm going to do the thing with the thing. Here we go. See you soon.